up, then disaster. Bitcoin is headed up. I think we're about to go to $30,000 very, very soon. I'm going to explain why in this video. I'm also going to explain the scariest thing that I've ever seen in my lifetime that is happening right now, which is kind of crazy for all of markets for stocks. If you own any assets, your house, Bitcoin, stocks, you need to watch this video. This is very, very scary. Okay. And then how this whole thing plays out over the next 6 to 12 months so that you can know how to invest, hopefully. And, you know, this whole thing's not financial advice. I feel like I'm supposed to say that. I don't know. Here, okay, let's just talk. Guys, I want to make this channel better. So my goal is to make this video in such a way that you could just play this in your car, that you could play this anywhere in kind of like a podcast format. So I will try to explain all of the charts that are on my screen as we go. Okay, I'm going to try to talk very, very clearly. I'm going to choose my words carefully. So listen to my voice, speed up my voice if you need to, and smash the like button for me really, really quick. I know you're driving or whatever you're doing. You're walking your dog. Please set your dog leash down. Hopefully your dog doesn't run away, and smash the like button for me because that will really, really help me. And I'm going to be dedicating a lot of time and energy into this channel. So come back and make sure you're subscribed and everything like that because I just want to give you guys value. I think this is such an interesting time in human history. So let's freaking talk about it. Bitcoin is finally rallying. As you can see here, I have a nice little long setup here that I shared with my 2+2 Genesis family in Discord. But basically what we were looking for is kind of a retest of this 20K area. And then we took the long around this 20,800 level right here. We took this long around 20,800 and it looks like we're headed all the way up to this price target here around $23,000. But this is just a short-term trade. If you want access to some of this stuff, it's in 2+2 Genesis in the Discord that's always linked below. But that's neither here nor there, okay? The thing that I'm looking for here is obviously Bitcoin to make a rally here to 23,000, and then eventually, over the course of the next few weeks, hopefully, we can get some continued relief in these markets. These bear market rallies, guys, are extremely nasty, okay? Throughout history, you'll see bear market rallies are something to behold. And so I really do think that we could push all the way up to $30,000. And I will explain why in this video. And those of you guys who are like, Kale, that's impossible. How could we ever trade at $30,000 again? I think maybe you've been a little bit, you've been on Twitter a little bit too much, okay? Twitter has been a horrible place to hang out for Bitcoin. But if you just look at the chart, guys, if you just look at the daily chart, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller here so you guys can see it. Sorry, I got all my indicators open and all this stuff. But like we were at $30,000 last week, guys. We were at $47,000 about a month ago. And so is it, look at this. I mean, it's a small little move when you look at it like that. Look, this is $30,000 right here. So going back to where we are last week when we've had so much crazy stuff happen is not that big a deal, okay? And so I really do think we could head back to $30,000. But I want to, actually, I don't want to delete those lines. Those lines are precious. Okay, let's just talk. There's a lot of fear in the market right now. There's a lot of people that are like, Kale, Bitcoin is never going to go above $30,000 again. Here's the deal. Luna blew up about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, guys. Remember that? Remember when Luna went to zero? Remember when $200 billion was wiped off the planet? If Luna had not done that, if it had not gone to zero, we would be trading at about $30,000 right now. Even with Jerome Powell, even with the Federal Reserve. Everyone always is in my comments like, kill the macro. We're in a recession. You guys know that I've watched every single Jerome Powell speech for the past, 2 years, right? Like I understand the macro. I understand that we are in a recession here with the stock market and all that stuff. But what I'm talking about here is that Bitcoin would be $30,000 right now if it wasn't for Luna. And the thing is that Luna situation caused contagion. It caused 3AC. It caused Celsius to also have all of this stress on their systems, right? They weren't able to keep up with their margin calls and all that stuff, which pushed us even further down. Like I said, it priced the whole market in 6 to 12 months into the future. It repriced everything. And so I understand all the Luna stuff and all of it, guys, but we would be up here at this $30,000 level. That is just a fact of life. And I know my chart looks horrible now, but guys, it's just where we should be. And I think the market will return to that level as long as there is no more panic in the system. And there's this guy named Sam Bankman-Fried who is trying to kind of reduce some of that panic, which I think is a huge catalyst right now. As you can see, BlockFi received a $250 million credit from FTX so that they could shore up their stuff. We have, this contagion. Everyone keeps saying contagion on Twitter. But is it really? Is it really? It seems like there's just a couple bad actors. It seems like we have 3AC. It seems like we have Celsius, right? Like I talked about here. It seems like those two firms, were not, using proper risk management. And then you have people like, FTX, who are in a great financial position. Coinbase and all these bigger crypto firms are fine, right? BlockFi obviously has been able to weather this storm, and they're receiving money from some of the bigger dogs because they don't want the crypto industry to die either, right? So we have gotten to the point in crypto where we are now big enough. Is it too close on my face? Where we are now big enough to have some people like FTX and Coinbase bail out some of these, some of these things that shouldn't have happened, right? I know we don't like bailouts in crypto, but it is nice to have people that are solid businesses help out the little businesses when times get tough so that the whole market doesn't nuke to zero, okay? And so this is great. This is amazing in my opinion. I think it's great marketing for FTX. It makes me want to use FTX. It's like, great, you're the market leader. You're able to save the market. Great, good. I love it, okay? And so we have that happening. That's another reason we can get Bitcoin to $30,000. But the thing that I promise you second on the whiteboard is very, 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 very gnarly. Okay. Remember, I promise you that we're going to go to $30,000 because basically Sam Bankman-Fried's going to bail us out. We should be at $30,000 anyway. Luna collapse just kind of made everyone super fearful. It looks like the stock markets are going to have a relief rally. All those things point to $30,000 Bitcoin, right? Pretty quickly. So if you want to make some money, that seems like a pretty obvious trade. I bought a ton of Bitcoin in this range. A ton. And if you want to see my exact trades, you can see them in the Discord. Anyway, the scariest thing that I want to talk about ever, the scariest thing ever is this Bank of Japan thing, guys. You have to go listen to this podcast. Preston is one of my favorite people in the world. I actually met Preston in Miami a couple years ago. Talked to him for like an hour. He is absolutely a genuine human being and a very, very smart guy. I've listened to him since the beginning of my crypto journey. He's an absolute amazing guy. So go watch this podcast. I would watch it on YouTube because there's like some cool graphs that he shows in the video. But man, if I could just give a summary to this, he's talking about the Bank of Japan, okay? And so I'll show this here. Go read this article from Zero Hedge. It talks about the giant hedge fund going Soros on the Bank of Japan. So what is happening is the Bank of Japan is going full on Luna, okay? I just want to say that one more time. The Bank of Japan is going Luna. Have you seen, you know what happened with Luna, right? Where is it? This is the chart, okay? This is the chart. I mean, you can't really see it right here. It's pretty small. But like basically what they're trying to do, okay. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of hard to see. But I can explain it a little bit. The Bank of Japan is having a bank run, okay? Just like Luna did. Remember when all the confidence was lost in Luna, right? What did Luna do? They had to sell all of their Bitcoin, all of their Ethereum, all of their assets to try to get the peg back down to $1 on UST. They were unable to do that. So what happened? It went to zero, right? The same thing is happening with the Bank of Japan. They have a peg. You see this peg right here? It's at 25 basis points. This is their bond yields. And you don't need to know what a bond yield is or what all that crap means because I know it's complicated. I know it's hard. But they have it pegged here. And what that means is if this rate changes, what they will do is they will print an unlimited amount of money to support the peg. Sound familiar? Sounds familiar, right? Except this is different. They have a money printer. So what is happening is the Federal Reserve of Japan, basically, like we keep talking about Jerome Powell, the Jerome Powell of Japan is printing an unlimited amount of money, and he is betting, and they are supporting that peg. So they are destroying their currency and they are going for it. But right now the peg is breaking. This is scary, okay? This is not like some kind of Luna thing. This is not like, oh, maybe we'll survive. Like this is like the entire world economy will feel this if this thing breaks for sure. And there's actually this hedge fund that is betting that they will not win, that the Bank of Japan will collapse. They're shorting the yen. They're shorting these bonds. And they're betting billions of dollars that this is going to break. So that is very, very interesting, guys. Whew, when I think about that. And so if you listen to this podcast that I was talking about here, what Preston does is he kind of explains this in terms of monopoly and how there are all these central bankers who are the bankers of all these various monopoly boards. I'll let him explain it. It's much better. Definitely go listen to that. But at the end of the day, guys, when you see these things that have happened in crypto, because in crypto there's no circuit breakers, right? Luna had a little bit of Bitcoin. That's why they were able to dump their Bitcoin and try to save UST, right? But they don't have a money printer like Japan does, right? And so Japan has been able to hold this line. At 20, look at that. They've been holding the line like that, straight across like that for 20 plus years. But now it's breaking. You see how it's breaking? That's not wonderful, right? And so when you see stuff like that, just know that nothing is safe, right? Nothing is safe. And so at the end of the video, I'm going to try to wrap a bow on this. I'm going to do a lot of speculation. So stay tuned for that. But we have to talk about how is all of this going to play out, right? Because I talked about going up, and then I talked about a disaster. The Bank of Japan thing could be a disaster. But how does this play out, and how do we make money from it, right? That's what you care about. That's what I care about. Okay, I got a few more minutes here. I don't want to waste too much of your time. But there's also other things, right? There's a short ETF that just got approved on the on the stock exchange. We can't get a Bitcoin spot ETF, but we can get a short ETF. That just launched. I said, wouldn't it be kind of poetic? Wouldn't it be poetic if that was the actual bottom for Bitcoin? That would be pretty funny, wouldn't it? I think that's pretty funny. The bears are going to have a tough time getting to the 12K price target. This is going to be a war. There's a lot of people bidding, as you can see here. They're bidding below 20K on Bitcoin. They're bidding this level, and they're not selling below 20K, which is why I've been buying. I've been buying right here because that's where the whales are willing to buy, right? The whales, retail, everyone is willing to buy this level. Look at that. That's what I said. Because it's a 5X, guys. I mean, at some point, we all believe this, right? We all have been thinking to ourselves, like, man, Bitcoin is the future, yada, yada, yada. Like, we all kind of believe that in our head. Gosh dang it, my head. We all kind of believe that at our core, right? That's kind of the thesis. That's why we got into crypto. Well, we all think it's going to $100,000. That's a 5X, right? Are we really going to be that greedy and wait for $10,000, which may never come, right? Or are we just going to buy and take the 5X, right? Because it's almost a guaranteed in our minds, right? For us crypto believers, it's almost a guarantee that Bitcoin eventually someday hits that $100,000 price target, right? So a 5X is pretty juicy. And that's why I think it's going to be very hard for these bears to get there. They may get there, though, with this whole Japan thing that may fly out of control, completely out of control. We'll talk about that at the end. Does that make sense? Okay. And then the last few things I just want to talk about again were FTX and Sam and all that stuff. But this is a really good trader here, high stakes capital. He trades huge positions. Obviously, he just bought 427 Bitcoin at a time. Wouldn't that be nice just to buy 427 Bitcoin? And that's a small position for you in 5,000 ETH, just a small position. This guy is one of my favorite traders. And so he's starting to get long. He's starting to buy these levels. Obviously, he bought at $19,000. So when you see this guy move, you probably should be buying too. Just another thought there. That's why I think we could also go up. And then everyone's like, this isn't capitulation. Oh, Kale, we haven't actually capitulated. There's no one. We haven't seen it. Look at this chart. This is the chart of Ethereum. I sold all my Ethereum at $4,400 like a few months ago. For a while there, Ethereum was $900, and people are like, "Oh, it's not capitulation. It's not." I mean, this is going to be in hindsight. Seeing 3AC go under, seeing Celsius go under, seeing all these liquidations go under, seeing Luna blow up. In hindsight, this is going to be a very obvious bottom, right? It may not be the bottom. It might not be the bottom, but bottoming out here on this chart when all of these, this is where all the fear was. This is where fear was the greatest, right? Right here. That's when everyone was panicking. This little bottom right here, back to $30,000, is going to be very obvious in hindsight, okay? But what happens after that? That's what you're here for, right? You want to know, okay, maybe Bitcoin does rally to $30,000. That's wonderful. We get this little move. We make some money. Great. Now, should we sell up here? Should we sell up here, okay? Or should we just keep it, just hold, right? Or should we even short on the way back down, right? Because I think we're going to hit. It's kind of crazy to think that we won't hit $30,000 again, in my opinion. Like, I think that we've spent too much time up here at these levels, way too much time. We're going to come back here. So what do we do once we get there? That's what we all want to know. So here's how I think. My base case right now, here's how I see this playing out, all right? I bought a bunch of Bitcoin down here, so obviously I think we're going up. Once we get there, I'm gonna do a little bit of both. I think I'm going to sell some. I'm going to definitely hold some. I'm probably not going to short, okay? I'm definitely not going to do that because I don't trust it enough. Here's why, okay? The whole system is about to collapse. I'm just going to talk. Can I move my face? Is that possible? Come on, OBS, whatever software this is. I'm just going to talk. Listen to my voice, podcast format for like 3 minutes here. This entire thing is headed for collapse, all right? The Bank of Japan is the canary in the coal mine, just like Luna was the canary in the coal mine we were at like 47,000 when Luna started to collapse, right? We all should have sold. We were all at like $40,000 Bitcoin. We all should have sold our Bitcoin then. It was the canary in the coal mine, right? It was squeak, 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 squeak. We're about to have an avalanche. That's what a canary in the coal mine means, right? The mine's about to collapse. Squeak, 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 squeak. The mine's about to collapse. We're supposed to get out, okay? Japan is the canary in the global economy coal mine. Squeak, 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 squeak. We should get out, okay? Because I don't think we've ever been in a situation where a Federal Reserve, where a bank the size of Japan has blown up and actually like been unable. We're talking like hyperinflation for a Japanese currency. This is big. This is big. Okay. Like when you turn Japan into Venezuela, you have to pay attention. Okay. And so how do I see this playing out? I don't know. I'm not a freaking politician, but I do think that the percent chance of the government playing this correctly without messing it up, is very slim. That's like saying that I expect a high schooler who's very good at basketball, maybe he's got a lot of experience in basketball, to play well consistently in the NBA, right? He's going to have times where people blow by him and dunk. He's going to have times where he's in a matchup and he's guarding Steph Curry, and Steph Curry's just like, bop. You know what I mean? And so it's the same thing here. We have forces much bigger than the Fed can deal with right now. We have supply chains totally screwed in China. We have Ukraine, Russia. No one has food. No one has oil. All of these inflationary pressures, plus the inflationary pressure of Japan printing unlimited money, trying to save their currency. We're printing. There's so much inflationary pressure in the world. And then you have, on the other hand, on this hand, you have inflationary pressures going this way, right? And then you have the Federal Reserve on this way trying to slow things down. They're trying to tighten, okay? When that happens, something is going to break. We are going to have a rally here in the short term, I think. But the way to get the richest, I think, is to try to predict these biggest moves. And I think that something will break. I don't know when, I don't know what price level, but I think some point before the election, something will actually break. And the stock markets will finally find their bottom. And that is when this imbalance between Japan and the money printing over there and the tightening over here just snaps. It just snaps. Okay. And so then we go down to the bottom in the stock market. Bitcoin will probably find its bottom, whether that's at 15K, whether that's at 12K, whether that's at 18K. I don't know. But I think that we will go back down. And that will be when the Fed will have to step in. They will say, oh, shit. This got out of control. This is something that we cannot control by tightening. We can't tighten up forever. We have elections in November. We need to get some people elected. Okay. So they're going to try to get some people elected. They're going to turn the money printer back on. They're going to give gas stimulus checks. They're going to give stimulus checks for food. You heard it here first. They're going to do this. They're going to print money in some way, whether they call it yield curve control, which is what it actually is, or whatever. They're going to find a way to print that money because you have one monopoly banker over here in Japan who is currently going insane. Imagine if you're playing Monopoly and there's two bankers, right? And one of the bankers is printing a ton of money. The other banker needs to catch up eventually, right? And so that is what we're going to have to do later in the year. But before then, something is going to snap. The entire game is going to break. People are going to get mad. People that are playing the game are going to say, this is unfair. The bankers are going too crazy. Go listen to Preston's podcast. He explains it much better than me. All right, guys. I'll see you guys soon. Let me know if that helped you. Smash the like button. Share this for the love of God. All right. Love you. Bye.